I think we can proceed. It's almost 5:02, and very good evening to everyone. Today we are also again for our second session on Sunday Talkies. Basically, we are trying from Aqua Doctor Solution and Aqua One Center, Kolkata, funded by NFDB and Manage. We are trying to organize series of lecture, webinar, and during these pandemic situations. We have understand that many people are at home and enjoying Sunday with the family and all, and also we want to be engaged yours things also together for the fisheries development in our country. And luckily, we are very blessed. Today, among us, we have Professor Dr. Mohan Krishna, sir. And sir is very renowned fisheries economics and agriculture economics in India and abroad. And many of us, basically, we got sir also as a teacher from many institutes and during our studies. And many of sir students are today they are into scientists in ARS and many institutes they are working. And we are very blessed to have sir with us because sir is going to talk about something which is very important today in fisheries development in Indian aquaculture scenario. Many of us, if you want to start fisheries, we always look for, okay, there is opportunity or there is no opportunity. If there is an opportunity, then that opportunity, how to harness. And if I have to harness that opportunity, how to get fund, who are going to support me, what are the government policies are there, government is supporting me or government is with me to make my venture successful. So for all these questions, today, sir will be addressing us with his, sir got a very nice presentation, which will be enlightened us with many of the very important scenario of PMSY, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, and is a visionary project, I should say, of our Honorable Prime Minister, because nobody think before that we can do some revolution underwater also. Something like, Samudra Manthan, if I still remember the old history. So our Honorable PM tried to do a Samudra Manthan, this time with this PMSY scheme. And what are the Samudra Manthan things are coming up for the PMSY things that sir will be addressing us in this forum. So this is particularly a very important Sunday sessions, because every Sunday we have half an hour to 45 minutes such kind of sessions, and we are trying to bring all the experts from all the fields of aquaculture and fisheries. So I like to request sir now to address the forum, and once sir is ready, I will also share the screen, the sir presentation from my side to all the viewers. Sir, please.
Thank you, Mr. Devtanu Barban, for having given me this opportunity. This is a very unique kind of initiative that your company Aqua Solutions have taken, and I am sure that this is going to help the fish farmers and the aqua industry in India as well as in the neighboring countries also, because I had the opportunity of attending the webinar that you held during the last week also. So I'm sure that is going to help the whole of the aquaculture industry in South Asia and maybe Southeast Asia also. So maybe proceed with the presentation?
Yeah.
So kindly share the screen from your side. So as he is sharing the screen, I would also like to add that we need more of such people like Mr. Devtanu in the aqua industry who are looking forward to, push the economy. The Indian economy is trying to be pushed towards a 5 trillion economy, which is the vision of the Prime Minister of India, for which we have had several such kind of schemes. And it is for the first time that we have had the initiative of establishing the Fisheries Ministry also, and we have got two ministers exclusively devoted to the development of the fisheries sector in the country. So therefore, it is a tremendous effort by the central government to push fisheries forward and reap the benefits of the development of this particular sector for the benefit of the country.
Sir, the presentation is visible?
No, it is not.
Okay. Yeah. I think, sir, now is visible.
It is just coming up. Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's
Great.
so. This evening, good evening, everybody, once again. And this evening, we have decided that we will discuss one of the most important schemes for the development of the fisheries sector in India, the Prime Minister Matsya Sampada Yojana. So the whole of the PMMSY is for the development of the entire fisheries and aquaculture sector. It is very easy for us to discuss the figures. It is very easy for us to point out the focus of the scheme for the development of aquaculture production and fisheries production. But it is also very necessary for us, especially those people who are trying to enter the industry as entrepreneurs who are trying to seek employment in the aqua industry or the fisheries industry, to know how exactly we can implement the PMMSY better. Is it not? So it is not just that we have to allot some funds and we just sit back and hope that everything will happen by itself. So it does not happen like that. So therefore, we have had several such schemes which have been. Can we have the next slide, please?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, this particular scheme, that is the second slide, please. You please go to presentation mode. Then it'll be all right.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, that's the second one. So therefore,
Yeah.
this particular scheme was launched by the Prime Minister in September last year. Before that itself, all the legwork was being done and things were falling into place. So we have had the previous one. So therefore, the Prime Minister had launched this particular scheme with a lot of enthusiasm from the aquaculture and the fisheries industry, and we have had several niche sectors which have been focused, especially sectors like seaweed, especially sectors like ornamental fisheries, and many of the financial institutions and the development institutions like NFDB have been very much influenced and are very much enthusiastic to support the PMMSY. Next one. So during this particular the launch of this scheme, as you can see that we have had several of these values which are available to us. One minute. So wherein during 2014 to 15 to 2018 to 19, this is the time during which these schemes were going to be put in place, and we have had a growth rate of about 10.88%. The average annual growth rate of fish production was about 7.53%, and the average annual rate of growth was about 9.7%. So as far as fisheries sector itself is concerned, it is contributing about 1.24 percentage of the national gross value added, and out of which, as far as the contribution to agricultural gross value added is concerned, it is contributing about 7.28%. So as far as fish is concerned, it is a very affordable source of protein and nutrition, and as well as income and livelihood. So we have had a very good record production of 137.58 lakh tons during 2018 to 19, and we have had a record fish production and a record exports, which was worth about 47,000 crores. So that is a tremendous achievement for our country. And as far as the global share of fish production is concerned, we are contributing about 7.73% of the global share of fish production, and we are the second largest aquaculture producer in the world, and also the fourth largest seafood exporter in the excuse me. So as far as the fisheries sector, that is the next slide, please. So as far as the fisheries sector governmental investments are concerned, we are planning to spend about $9 billion in the next 5 years. The total investment for this particular scheme is coming to about 66,000 crores, which is equivalent to $9 billion. And past trends show substantial private sector contribution in fisheries. The center component of this particular total investment comes to about 41,000 crores, and the state contribution will be about 25,000 crores. The PMMSY has a couple of other predecessors also going before that particular scheme was launched. The PMMSY itself has an outlay of about 20,050 crores, which is amounting to about $2.7 billion. And the Fisheries and Aquaculture Infrastructure Fund, which has outlay about 7,522 crores, and the World Bank, for the purpose of strengthening fisheries value chains, it is contributing about 13,500 crores, which is equivalent to $1.88 billion. The shrimp sector alone in 2018-19 contributed about 31,000 crores, that is approximately 4 billion US dollars. And it is a shining example of synergy, and facilitative public policy as well as private sector investments. Next slide, please. In the next slide, we have the predecessors which were preceding the launch of the PMSY. We had the Blue Revolution scheme for during the 2015 to 2016, and we had the Fisheries and Aquaculture Infrastructure Development Fund during 2018 and 19. And during 2021, this particular scheme of PMMSY is to run for a period of 2021 to 2025. So therefore, we have a 5-year scheme period. For the Blue Revolution, we had about 3,000 crores from 2015 to 2016 to 19 to 20 for the development of this particular sector. And for 18 to 19, for the Fisheries, Aquaculture and Infrastructure Development Fund, FIDF, we had 7,522 crores for providing concessional finance for fisheries, aquaculture infrastructure. And as far as PMMSY is concerned, the total outlay, as I just told you, is around 20,050 crores. So therefore, these are the values that we are having at our hands. Several of the areas, several of the sectors, subsectors of the fisheries sector as well as the aquaculture sector have been identified in development. So therefore, this particular webinar, I am not going to concentrate on the production aspects, because the production is also very, very important. It is very important to enhance production. But at the same time, we have also to look into the various opportunities for financing these projects, as well as not only just depending upon the government support, but also how to generate and how to channelize the available funds to the target people so that the schemes will reach our target audience. So that is also very, very important. How exactly are we going to do it? Next slide, please. So during the Blue Revolution scheme, which was launched during December 2015, the outlay was 3,000 crores. and it was also for 5 years. That is during 2015-16 to 2019 and 20. And the scheme just ended. That is in on 31st of March last year. The fish production during that particular scheme period had increased from 13.75 billion metric tons to 13.75 billion metric tons from 10.26 billion metric tons. Exports had risen from 33,000 crores to 46,000 crores worth. Productivity has increased from 2.3 tons per hectare to 3.3 tons during that particular scheme period. That is a Blue Revolution scheme period. Next slide, please. So, what are the areas which are being focused under the PMMSY? What are the focus areas or the objectives? The objectives of the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, which was announced in the Union Budget of 2019-20, was for harnessing of the fisheries potential in a sustainable, responsible, inclusive, and equitable manner. That was one of the most noble objectives that the PMMSY has. It also focuses on the enhancing of fish production and productivity through expansion, intensification, diversification, productive utilization of land and water, modernizing and strengthening of the value chain, post-harvest management and quality improvement. It also focuses on doubling of the fishers and fish farmers' incomes and the generation of employment for the sector. Of course, this component also was part of the Ashok Dalwai report for doubling farmers' income, which included fish farmers as well as the fishers, doubling of fishers and fish farmers' incomes. It also will focus on enhancing the contribution of agriculture, GDP, as well as exports, social, physical, economic security of fishers and fish farmers, and we'll also look at the robust fisheries management and regulatory framework. That is very important because especially when security questions come as well as marine fisheries are concerned, naturally it is very important for the scheme to take care of fisheries management as well as regulatory framework with all the kind of troubles that we have had for the last few years. So the PMMSY started with the key targets. We have had several indicators which have been listed. That is the next slide, please. Hope we are on the same page, Devtanu. Yeah, next slide. PMMSY key targets. The indicators are the following. Fish production has to increase from 137 lakh tons to 220 lakh tons by the end of this plan period, that is 2024-25. The average annual growth of fish production has to increase from 7.53% to 9%, approximately 9%. It is expected. The average aquaculture productivity has to increase to 3.3 tons, from 3.3 tons to 5 tons per hectare. Fisheries exports again has to increase substantially. That is one of the most important focus of our seafood exports program. It has increased. It is expected to increase from 47,000 crores to 100,000 crores. So that is an enormous target that we have set for ourselves. But with the COVID situation that is there all over the country, we must see to what extent we can fulfill all these expectations from the seafood export sector. Despite the fact that we have had some kind of a shortfall as far as exports for the current year is concerned, it has not been so bad as it was being expected by the MPDA. The post-harvest losses, which is now currently estimated to be 25% of the total harvested production, has to reduce from 25% to 10%. So that is the kind of target that we have set for ourselves as far as post-harvest losses are concerned. And employment generation. Now we are having about 15 lakh people working in our sector during 2018-19. We expect that we will have about 55 lakh people working in this sector, because if we are going to increase our fish production from 137 lakh tons to 220 lakh tons, naturally the number of people who will have to be engaged in this sector will have to naturally double, isn't it? So in order to handle the enhanced production. Next slide, please. So this investment, I think, yeah. So as far as the investments are concerned, the total estimated investment, as we have already said, is around 20,050 crores. And the implementation schedule is from 2020-21 to 24-25. And the central outlay is around 9,407 crores. And out of which we have two components. Whenever there is a scheme, we have the centrally sponsored schemes as well as central sector schemes. So the CS and CSS, see, these are the two components under which the various projects are implemented, both at the state level. Some of the projects are straight away taken up by the central government, and that is the central schemes. And while the others are sponsored schemes, which have a share of the state, maybe it will be 50-50, maybe it will be 90-10, or it will be 80-20. That kind of a ratio will be there as far as the contribution from central as well as the state agencies are concerned. So the central sector component scheme is around 1,720 crores. Under the CSS scheme, we have the central share of 7,000 and odd crores. The shares, state shares, will be about 5,000 crores. And again, the beneficiaries or the private share will be about 6,000 crores. That is the kind of outlay that is going to be expended on this particular sector over the next 5 years in order to achieve the targets which has been set under the schemes. So from the bench, next slide, please. So as far as the PMMSY targets are concerned, from the benchmark values, let us take it from the benchmark values. For 18-19, the country now aims to increase fish production to 220 lakh tons. The average production has to increase by to 9%. Fisheries exports has to increase to 100,000 crores. Post-harvest losses has to reduce to 10% from 25%. Employment has to increase from 15 lakhs to 55 lakhs in 2024. And the clearly stated objectives envisage physical, economic, social, regulatory growth of the fisheries sector to be implemented over the next 5 years. So that is the kind of targets that we are handling under the PMMSY for the next 5 years, that is starting from last year. The two components, the CS, next slide please, the CSS and the CS components. The centrally sponsored scheme component consists of the inland and the marine capture and culture fisheries, which includes specific development programs for fisheries in Himalayan. So far, not many schemes have focused on development of fisheries especially in hill regions. So this may be the first scheme which has been taken very, very seriously with a focus on Himalayan, Northeast and Union Territories fisheries. Aquatic animal health management, fish production technology and e-marketing of fish and fish products. One of the most important or neglected areas of fisheries is insurance. So insurance for fishing vessels is being considered very seriously under this particular scheme. Markets and marketing infrastructure is being considered very, very seriously. Fisheries extension and support services. Again, Devtanu and companies like that are contributing a lot towards such kind of extension services, extension support services. The development of the deep sea fishing integrated modern coastal fishing villages, strengthening and safety of the fishers. That is very, very important, because when they are out at sea, the safety of the fishers are a national responsibility. So therefore, all kinds of gadgets, all kinds of equipments must be enabled in order to save the lives of the fishers who are out at sea fishing for us. And for the first time, this is very important, very innovative, and very, very, we have to give the people who have actually developed the scheme a very big hand for proposing bio toilets in fishing vessels. That's very important. So we are talking about Swachh Bharat. Not only Swachh should be there on land, but also there it should be on waters also, is it not? So therefore, the scheme envisages the setting up of bio toilets on fishing vessels also. Networking of the ministries, institutions, and between states and center are very important. How important is this networking is something that we have to see more in detail. Next slide, please. So last year, it is supposed to have been launched in September 2020, and the Prime Minister had a formal, e-launch of the project. And from September to March, the states have been preparing various projects. So the various projects preparation also will take time, and it has to be sanctioned. Money has to be, sanctioned and approved and given to the various states for the implementation of these projects. So this is a report on the progress of the achievements of the PMMSY till March 2021. So this period, since the launch of the Yojana, has been spent on developing project proposals by the state governments. The state governments have been focused. We have had several consultancies both in Tamil Nadu as well as in Andhra Pradesh, where I'm helping the Andhra Pradesh government for developing appropriate projects under the Yojana. The PMMSY has received overwhelming responses from the states, from the union territories and other agencies. So the response from the states is also very important. You just cannot launch a scheme from the central government, and if there is no response from the state governments, it is no longer you cannot blame the center for everything. So therefore, it is also very necessary that the states have to be very proactive and to contribute to the development of the sector. And it is a role which is actually to be played both by the center as well as the states. Proposals from 34 states have been received. States and union territories have been received by the ministry during 2021 Government of India 2021 report. The Government of West Bengal and Chandigarh have not submitted the proposals for 2020. So these states should act fast, and it is very necessary. And since Devtanu is already located at Kolkata, it is very important that the West Bengal government gives its proposals as soon as possible. As on March 2021, proposals to the tune of 9,000 crores have been received. 8,000 crores have been budgeted under the CSS projects, while 1,000 crores and odd has been under the central sector scheme proposals for 2021 for the current year. So these are the various activities that has been done for this particular year from September 2020 to March 2021. Next slide, please. So carrying on with the achievements that have happened till March 2021, out of the 2,746 crores worth projects which have been approved among the 34 states and union territories, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, and Orissa have cornered 900 crores. So a good 1,000 crores has been cornered by 3 states who have been very proactive in proposing the projects and getting a chunk of the money which has been allotted for that purpose. Total funds released amount to 500 crores, of which 240 crores have been for Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Karnataka, and Maharashtra. So these 5 states, UP, AP, Chhattisgarh, Karnataka, and Maharashtra, have got 50% of the total funds which is released. So that is also a tremendous point to be noted. Proactive states have been benefiting quite a lot. Now, project proposals are okay. Is it not very important that we should see what kind of projects have been submitted, the type of projects have been submitted, the area of focus, and the direction of change which has been envisaged in the plan? What kind of projects have been submitted? That is to be examined. And it has been submitted by the states and those that have been approved. Next slide, please. So it is very necessary that we have to engage the entrepreneurial spirit of India. Next slide. Are we on the same page?
Yeah. Next one, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we are engaging the entrepreneurial spirit of India, what is the most important component that is essential for kickstarting any project? It is credit. It is money. So each and every project that has to be implemented at the field level must ensure that enough credit or financial support is provided by the various institutions that are involved in the development activities of the scheme. One of the most important steps that has been taken, many of you who are listening to this talk may be students, maybe students who are not really exposed to financial economics. So it is very important for you to know that the government has taken steps for introducing non-banking financial intermediation. What do we mean by NBFC, non-banking financial intermediaries? They are companies which have now been given permission to lend credit to the agriculture sector. So therefore, when the NBFCs are involved in extending credit to the agriculture sector, we always know that the private sector is more proactive in reaching out to the end stakeholders, and it is quite possible for us to envisage that the end stakeholders will be benefiting from this kind of a initiative taken by the government to help the NBFCs to lend to the agriculture sector. The agriculture sector is also taking care of the fisheries sector. So therefore, this fisheries sector is also taken care of by the NBFCs. So microfinance companies are those companies which are coming under these NBFCs. One of the most important or one of the most significant or outstanding, I should not say outstanding, one of the unfortunate features of our governance or implementation of the scheme is that the knowledge of the schemes that is there with the government or that is there with the department is not to the know of the people who are there in the far-flung areas of the country. Is it not? So people who are there in northeast countries where there is plenty of water resources, is it not important for them to know what are the schemes which are available under the PMMSY? It is very important. How do we get to them? How do we reach them? How do we find who are all those people who may be interested to get into this entrepreneurial effort of the government to expand the fisheries sector of the country, to expand the fish production of the country? It is not enough that we just set high fish production targets, but it is also very important to know how exactly we are going to achieve it. One of the most important ways, one of the easiest important ways that we can do it now is through the post office banking network. The post office banking network is available all over the country. It is not necessary that a regular, ICICI bank or a Canara bank or a State Bank of India to be available in each and every village. But a post office is available. So when a post office is available and they have been given additional duty of financial intermediation, it is also quite easy for them to extend information of the government regarding the various schemes that is going to help the farmers. So it is one of the most important avenues through which information can be passed on to the end stakeholders. Now, there are a group of people, in the banking sector who go and do door-to-door banking on behalf of the nationalized banks, on the behalf of the other scheduled banks. These people are called as banking correspondents. This I am telling for the benefit of the non-social sciences or non-social sciences students. So these banking correspondents have a very, very close contact and interaction with the people and the stakeholders, to the end stakeholders. So it is very easily possible for the concerned agencies to brief these banking correspondents and help dissemination of information regarding the various schemes under the PMSSY so that it will reach the end stakeholders. So that is a great benefit. People who have absolutely no idea regarding the various schemes that are available in the country now will be able to gain access to such information through their interaction with the banking correspondents. So that is one thing that is to be explored very seriously. Next, please. One of the most important initiatives which was taken by the government of India is to introduce the Kisan credit card for agriculture. The introduction of the Kisan credit card for agriculture was one of the most innovative initiatives taken by the central government to make credit readily available to the agriculture farmers all over the country. The Kisan credit card is just like our credit card. Only thing is that it can be used only for buying inputs. So therefore, this facility has been extended to the fishers also, the fishers and the fish farmers. Now, it is not enough that the Kisan credit card is now made available to the fishers. It's also very important for the people who are the potential users of this credit card to know that such a facility is available. How are we going to do it? 20 million marginal fishers with a monthly average household income of 4,387 in 2016 have been identified for direct income support. 8,400 fishers have received their credit card only till the end of 2019. So therefore, the identification of the fish farmers in the hinterland through post office banking systems and the non-banking financial intermediation system is very, very important. This is very important with respect to the financial bridge that has to be built in the Himalayan, Northeast, and aspirational districts. So this is the way it has to be done. The announcement and availability of the Kisan credit card for fishers alone do not suffice. It is very important that such kind of information should be reaching the end stakeholders, and how exactly we have to reach them. So that is another point that we have to think about very seriously. Next, please. As far as the greenfield areas, now we were talking about, we always talk about shrimp farming. We talk about, how exactly we are going to increase fish production of the IMCs. We also, of late, we have talked about, how to increase the ornamental fisheries. And very recently, we are talking a lot on seaweed farming. So there are sectors, subsectors, and subsectors which are available, which have not been exploited. Some of them we will try to discuss. As far as insurance is concerned, fishing vessels insurance and enhanced fishers and fish farmers insurance are identified focus of PMSSY. That's a very important initiative, and all applause goes to the central government for having included the insurance component under this particular scheme. Under the fishers' welfare, livelihood support, safety at sea, especially in the light of meeting international quality standards. Because that is very important, because nowadays quality standards have to be met, otherwise our consignments could get rejected. Now, foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment has to be opened for the fisheries sector. All of us know it, isn't it? What is foreign direct investment? Allowing the foreign investors to invest in our production facilities. That is to start an industry. They could enter our aquaculture industry also, and plow back their investment with some certain restriction, financial restriction imposed by the Reserve Bank of India under the FERA, that is Foreign Exchange Regulation Act. Okay, so these kind of restrictions are there, but still the foreign direct investment avenue is available for the country. But still, we do not have many companies coming into India and using this particular channel of investment. Why is it so? So therefore, we have to identify channels which have the great potential for investment, and where we have a dire need, like for instance, cold chain, establishment of cold chain. Establishment of a cold chain, the export is very much available in many of the foreign countries who have been dealing in fisheries sector for decades. So those companies need to be contacted, and they could be asked to explore the opportunities which is available in our country, and that through the FDI channel. So that possibility has to be examined. Okay, now even if the FDI is explored by the people who have got experience in Western countries, or maybe in Japan and other countries where fisheries has developed to a large extent, what about electricity in rural areas? Electricity in rural areas is a very important factor. In one of the recent articles I read, electricity is some power available for some time at some voltage. So that is the kind of situation that we are having in our country, So when there is only some power for some time, under some voltage conditions, how will the foreign investment happen? How will the cold chain industry enter our sector? So these are some of the things that are interlinked. So therefore, whenever we have start a scheme like PMSSY, where we have very ambitious targets, it is very necessary that we have to establish forward linkages. The forward linkages will enable the success of the sector. So the establishment of the power sector, roads and communications, all these things are forward linkages that has to be developed, especially in rural areas, because fisheries and aquaculture are basically rural oriented in sectors. I won't say industry sectors. So therefore, these forward linkages have to be enabled so that the other components which are already available, like FDA, the experts are waiting. Do we think that the local industry is very well developed as far as the stock exchange is concerned? We have had only about 6 companies listed in the stock exchange. Can you imagine? We have been speaking about fisheries. We have been speaking about improving the fish production in the country and all that. But still, there is no much activity as far as public sector companies in fishing sector is concerned. We have a couple of the feed industries, but for them there is hardly any kind of activity on a very large scale. This is only because, let us not assume that the meat industry or the poultry industry people, like for instance Suguna poultries or Venkateshwara hatcheries, they are very big, and they are just biding their time to get into our fishing industry. What prevents them from getting into our fishing industry? It is only the scale, economies of scale. They want volumes of fish. They want quality fish. Unless the quality fish is available and unless the volumes are available, it will not be possible for them to make enough investments so that gets reflected in the stock exchange, and their presences as a fishing sector industry is available in the stock exchange. So therefore, one of the objectives of the PMMSY to develop the 500 FPOs, Farmers Producers Organization, or Fisheries Producer Organization, or Fish Farmers Producers Organization, call them whatever you want. So these 500 FPOs must be directed to enable enough volumes of quality fish which should be made available, and the concerned or the sectors which are likely to invest in this particular sector are brought forth and invited to invest in our industry. So that will alone help us to generate employment from 15 lakhs to 55 lakhs. How are we going to achieve it otherwise? We need volumes. So that is very important. The final greenfield area that we need to discuss is cellular seafood. What is cellular seafood? We have been hearing about so many things which have been manufactured in the lab. So cellular seafood also implies those types of seafood which can actually be generated from laboratories and that is also quite scalable. So those kind of things which are already available in the West, why we have not started in our own country? What prevents us? Are we not having the technology, or are we investment shy? So these are some of the things that has to be examined in greater detail for PMMSY to succeed in a great way. Next. Integrating cold chains that we have just discussed. Next slide. We are on the same page. Yeah. Integrating cold chains of the agriculture products. The connect between research and government institutes. That's also very important. Research is very much available in Indian fisheries research institutions, but the connect between the research organizations as well as the institutions, the government institutional framework has to be improved. One of the most important areas which we discovered as part of a research program that we conducted when I was working at CIFB was the opportunity which is offered by post-sales services of ornamental fish. On a preliminary calculation, we estimated that as much as 300 crores worth of turnover is being made by few individuals in Mumbai just by servicing the people who are already having aquariums of ornamental fishes in their establishments. 300 crores. And that too, this is kind of a off the record, I can say that it's a kind of a parallel economy that's going on. Everything is cash deep and all those things. So such kind of things have to be mainstreamed. Post sales servicing of ornamental fishes is one of the biggest opportunities that is available, especially in urban areas. So this kind of a thing has to be exploited in a greater way. How exactly we have to plan it out, and we can come out in a greater way to exploit this opportunity. Capophycus alvarezi seed bank is a very important aspect. We have been talking about seaweed. Of course, this is being taken care of by the government, no doubt about it. I'm sure it is being done as a part of the intensive focus that is being given to seaweed development in especially areas of Tamil Nadu. So this is being addressed in a serious way. We have had a tremendous innovative approaches as far as e-marketing of fresh fish in Mumbai is concerned, isn't it? During the COVID times, we have had, our own friend Ganesh Nakava, who was very so innovative and who had engaged in door-to-door selling of fresh fish in order to cater to the requirements of the Mumbai public during the times of COVID when partial lockdowns were in force. So therefore, he was quite innovative. Such kind of innovative programs are available, and apps development. Apps development are a major thing. It's such a major thing. I don't know why exactly we are not exploiting that kind of an avenue, which are available for marketing of fish through apps. Some of the companies which is already there in the fray, like Licious. Licious is a company which is operating in our own Chennai, which is having quite a big market, and they are also having a good turnover, but they are not on a national level. Can you imagine Byju's? We all every day we are seeing this advertisement coming up every day on TV. Byju's, educational app. So that app is now a $16 billion industry just in 1 year. Such an agricultural startup. So when such a innovative idea can be implemented through the adoption of an app, it is very possible for us to think innovatively to have such kind of approaches in fisheries and aquaculture also. So this is something that has to be taken care of. Artificial intelligence, a particular company in operating from Chennai and Andhra Pradesh is already in place. They are enabling data-driven farming in Indian shrimp ecosystem, connecting farmers with upstream and downstream players in the industry. There is a lot of applications as far as implementation of artificial intelligence and machine learning is concerned. So those kind of opportunities have to be examined in greater detail for further success of the PMSSY. Next slide, please. Now a word about Penayas Manorono. Now during this COVID times, we had problems of marketing shrimp, especially in Andhra Pradesh, especially with my friends here in Tamil Nadu. We had a lot of problems. So they were turning to local domestic industry and trying to sell the produce which could not be exported because of various lockdown constraints. But in the process, it looks as if the market for Penayas Vanamai has come down, and the market for Penayas Monodon is actually booming once again. So therefore, it is very necessary if there are provisions under PMMSY to set up hatcheries and broodstock development facilities for Penayas Monodon once again, because that is going to be another booming market for the next decade perhaps. Establishment of fish hatcheries northeast. Of course, there are some initiatives which have been taken, but they have to be taken more seriously. The scale has to be improved, and we have had several problems marketing fish from Andhra to the northeast. Those kind of problems should not occur ever again. So that kind of a problem should be taken care of, and ultimately we have to cross-pollinate ideas. The networking of ministries, as we have already seen under one of the directions of the PMMSY, is very important. Integrate technological developments across sectors, imbibe the culture of inclusive thinking, and explore new frontiers. So these are some of the things I wanted to explain. And in the next slide, we have the key activities investments under centrally sponsored scheme. I think I have taken enough time. So the next two slides I would skip. And I thank Aqua Doctor Solution for the opportunity that has been given to me. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you so much for your sir detailed presentation on PMSY, because you have clearly mentioned the government role, its schemes, its different way of thinking, and also its different way of implementations in terms of touching fisher folk families, starting from production to end user, and also the consumer perspective. So in this line, sir, I like to ask few of the questions for the audience also, maybe because this video is also going to be uploaded in our YouTube channel. So many people who have lots of questions and things, they can also understand it. Understanding the PMSY for last, say, 1.5 years, which is ongoing in different states, and many people is not yet implemented the scheme also in state level and also in different way. So, but the places where it has been implemented, they are facing some problem. One problem is to identify the right farmers. Till today, if I consider I'm a fish farmer, but I don't have any kind of ID card or certification, or I can say that I am a real fish farmer. This is one problem. Second problem is coming when we go for bank for financing onto such kind of projects, when public-private partnership model also want to be worked out. Most of the time, banks say, okay, we don't have such kind of projects with us. We cannot help you out. Maybe the government rules is there, but government is not connected with us till today. But few of the banks, they are still working. So these are the real problem at the ground level. As you are into policy making structures of government of India, by through you, I want to address this for the benefit of our fisher families, that such kind of problem farmers should not face, so that we should have a very streamlined, easy way of access. So in that direction, sir, anything happening now?
See, actually, as far as identification of the right kind of farmers is concerned, people who are having some knowledge of the various schemes that is available through the departments, state departments of the various states. So they actually need to take a certificate of training for maybe 3 weeks. Training programs are being conducted by the excuse me, conducted by the universities, conducted by the research institution, ICR research institution. If they have that certificate, and if they can be certified as having attended that particular training program, and they can prepare a good sound project proposal and go to the banks, invariably I do not think that they will be rejected. So normally that is being supported by the banks. And even if you have to go through the NFDB also, they are supporting very well. So therefore, this is a constraint which may be expressed by people who have not tried enough. Actually, yes, I do agree that information has to reach the end stakeholders, the interested, or to get them interested. That is very important.
True.
So that is why I told you that it is very important to use the post office banking channels. It is also very important to use the banking correspondence. So these are two ways in which we can identify the end stakeholder who may be likely to get benefited from the various schemes of the government of India. So this is one way. Regarding the reluctance of the banking system to support the various schemes of the PMMSY, we have requested the various training colleges of the banks. All the banks have various training colleges. So the training colleges have to necessarily give some kind of a training on the various schemes that is being operated. An urban bank manager may not be knowing much about fisheries. You cannot really blame him. But the thing is, he has to know. because just like the civil servants have to know everything in whichever department they are posted, the banking people also should be knowing about the various schemes that is in operation, whether that is agriculture or fisheries or veterinary or whatever it is. So therefore, whenever they are sent for the training programs in the training colleges, they have to go periodically. They are sent. So when they are sent, they have to be briefed regarding the various schemes that is available for the agriculture sector, which includes fisheries also. In
Yeah.
this way, we are trying to improve the knowledge levels of the banking professionals, so that even in urban banking, the level of acceptance of the agricultural projects which is submitted by the stakeholders is improving.
Sir, one more questions for young generation people,
Yeah.
because we consider that India will be fit when farmers will be fit, and when farmers will be fit, when more young people will be into it. Okay. So for young generation people, you have already addressed some of the very innovative ideas, say digital marketing. If I make it more simplified, digital marketing, then digital service providing app, right? Then you have also addressed very this that door to door service, like how we can easily connect our production to the end user channel. For that, sir, can you suggest like some of good apps, or maybe some of the good companies who are running such kind of events? Like you already mentioned one or two. Maybe in India, if somebody also work on that aspect, if you address it, because maybe our audience also, they can get idea, they can go through it, they can just look to it. Because I will tell you, sir, like nowadays for this COVID situations, many of the IT professionals who are not into fisheries, but they are IT professional. They have developed apps. They are coming to us as, because we are fisheries. We know that where the fish ponds there, what fish can be produced from particular area. So they are coming to us. So there some network bridge bonding systems are going on. So on that aspect, if you just enlighten us little bit, sir, more, it will be more great.
So one of the most important avenues where all these ideas are available are the agri-business incubators, which is available in ICR agricultural institutes as well as agriculture universities. Agri-business incubator units. They are established all over the country,
Yeah.
and these are the places where you get new ideas, especially students who want to get enter into business instead of getting into service. So they can approach these agri-business incubator units, enroll themselves. They are supporting also many of the agri-business incubator units, especially where I was working in Nam, Hyderabad. So there also we have a agri-business incubator unit. We have agri-business incubator unit here in Siba. There is one at CIFE. No, not at CIFE, at CIFT as well as CMFRI. So there we have these agribusiness units, wherein there is a flush of ideas. There are a flush of ideas. Only thing is that unfortunately there is not enough responses from the fisheries graduates. They must come forth and exploit the available opportunities which is available with the incubator units. So these have to be exploited to a great extent. One of the most important advantages of getting in touch with such kind of incubators is there you come not only for getting ideas, but also getting linked to the angel investors, to the venture capitalists, to
Yeah.
the various other forms of financing. So that is the most important thing. You may be having great ideas, but that is not enough. There must be somebody who you can convince, and you can develop that idea and make it into a big industry. So that is what the whole thing is all about. So therefore, avenues are available. Definitely avenues, as you rightly said, it is very necessary for the government sector to reach and search for the final stakeholders. That is one thing. And the final stakeholders, they should also take the initiative to accept those ideas and try to develop themselves with the available facilities which is there in the country. So that is what has to be done.
Sir, not the last, not the least, I should say, the questions I want to address. You work very strongly and for a long experience on social science, okay, and you have also make lots of students under your guidance. Today, they are into lots of ICR Institute and scientists. For general perspective of your view, today maybe we are fisheries students, or maybe we are fisheries professional. Do you think how we can engage our fisheries mind into social society linkage so that to promote that in egg we always say roj khaw ande, but for fish how we can change that mind of the people so that we can boom up this industry with lots of energy and lots of demands.
Yeah,
Sir,
that's
please.
a very important. It's a very important question, and I'm sure that the young people are available, and many of them are coming forth, and many of them are a little shy of getting into the business or aqua business. So that is to be encouraged. So that has to go into the minds of the young people. That is very important, and the thing is, the whole fishery sector can be developed. There is no doubt about it. And as you rightly say, a slogan, just like NECC has the slogan for eggs, an egg a day, and all that. So that is one thing. And Amul has a beautiful binge marketing or binge advertising kind of approach. So that is fantastic. So that kind of a thing can be initiated. If the current, if NFDB can do it, the concerned agency which is responsible for the development of fisheries within the country can also do it.
Yeah.
Can also do it. I don't want to mention that directly,
Yeah.
but instead I'm just hinting that it can be done.
Yeah,
it is only a matter of application of one's mind and coming out with a slogan via competition or something like that, and then trying to publicize the importance of eating fish on a daily basis, and thus improve the consumption rates and all that. So those kind of initiatives can definitely be taken, no doubt about it. So marketing is very important. Advertising is very, very important. So these are some of the things that has to be explored, and youth must come forward. Youth must come forward, and there are plenty of opportunities. Instead of seeking jobs only in the government sector, they must definitely come, like the right step that you have taken yourself. So therefore, those kind of initiatives have to be taken by the youth themselves.
Sir, the last things, what message you will give this platform for fisheries development in coming days? Because we always consider our fisheries people, we are the last bench students, though we are now contributing lots in our sector. But to booming up this, what will be your last message to us so that we can also do something good so that we also can say that we also are coming in the first range?
No, there is no question of thinking of like fishery students are last benchers. You are also first benchers, no doubt. Or rather, it should be in the middle benches. I had a lot of classmates. I was a middle bencher myself, so therefore, I feel that being a middle bencher, you absorb ideas from both sides. The people who are laggards in the class and who are toppers in the class. So therefore, in my own class, when I was in school, one of the middle benchers is now a shipping magnate. So so therefore, it is not necessary that you have to consider yourself as a last bencher. You are a first bencher, no doubt about it. And how many number of IIT people are into fishing industry now? There are so many people who have an industry. I was just telling you about the artificial intelligence which is being used by a shrimp company established in Andhra Pradesh and Chennai. So he's from IIT Kharagpur. So therefore, it is not that only the so-called last benchers. It is all people from all the sectors across the various disciplines in the country who are entering the fisheries sectors. So I am very sure that the fisheries sector has a great opportunity. It provides a great opportunity for youth, and we can look forward to the success of the schemes as well as the completing the targets which have been envisaged under the scheme. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And from Aqua Doctor Solution and Aqua One Center, Kolkata, we are very much grateful because you have took lots of paid almost an hour. You have explained very nicely to us, and we are looking forward to connect you once again to one more aspects on economics aspects by which we can make lots of people into fisheries, because we think like once the knowledge will be reached to ground level, people will come into it right directions. And thank you so much once again, sir. Thank you so much. And for the audience, I like to tell you, coming Sunday with us, we'll also have another another person from Indonesia. He's a strategic manager of CP Prima company. So he'll be also talking about you the career opportunity in fisheries sector. So don't think like we are in India only we are concerned. This with this Aqua Doctor Solution platform, we are trying to bring whole globe into our room so that by sitting at room we can understand how big our sector is. Thank you once again to Mohan Krishna sir for taking this pain and to join with us, and also the audience who are joined with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.